Hey folks, Will here again with Happily Ever Outdoors. So in this video, we're going to be taking a look at the signaling B.O.S. kit from Stanford Outdoor Supply. So keep watching. Alright guys, so if you've seen any of the reviews I've done before on any of these B.O.S. kits, you'll know that B.O.S. stands for Bug Out Survival Supplement. Each of the kits comes in a sturdy, resealable, waterproof bag, and they each are focused on a specific aspect of survival, of how to deal with an emergency situation. This particular kit is their signaling kit. They also have a fire kit, a water kit, a shelter kit, etc. And I'll go ahead and drop links in the description below to all the other videos we've done on the other kits in the series. Signaling is definitely a really important aspect of survival. In any kind of emergency situation where you're lost out in the woods, lost at sea, anything like that, getting the attention of a passing airplane or helicopter could make the difference between making it out alive and not. After all, if they don't know where you're at, how can they rescue you? Now, these kits do vary widely depending on the contents and the size of the kit and where you get them if you happen to catch them on sale, but I will throw some links down there so you guys can check it out outside this video. The signaling B.O.S. is a 14-piece kit. You can see it includes a signal mirror, a whistle, 2 chem lights, 10 reflective tacks, matches, 6 feet of reflective cordage, an orange smoke cartridge, 15 feet of orange vinyl ribbon, fluorescent dye marker, chalk, permanent marker, 5 reflective patches, 5 sheets of waterproof paper, mylar signal panel blanket, and a survival information sheet like you see in their other kits that kind of tells you how to use everything that's inside this pouch effectively. Alright, so let's go ahead and open this thing up and take a look. Alright, so going down the list, we do have our signaling mirror. This looks like this is a micro star flash signal mirror. I'm not sure if this is the one from U.S.T. or not, or if this is just a very simpler design, but definitely a good compact little signaling mirror. We've also got a emergency whistle. And I think this will be pretty loud. It looks like it's nice. It's got a little clip on there, so you can clip that on your pocket. Yeah, and that was just barely blowing on it, so that seems like a pretty good whistle. And we've also got 2 chem lights, or a lot of people know them as glow sticks. So you're basically just going to, you know, crack these things open, and they'll light up. There we go. I think it was a little bit stiff, but you can see immediately it's starting to really illuminate. Yeah, there we go. We got it good. You can kind of shake it. So obviously this is going to be only effective really at night, but you could use this either to like tag the outside of your bag so that you'd be more visible, or you could hold this in your hand, use this to help signal an aircraft, or potentially another method would be you could use some paracord, some other cordage, wrap it around that, and you can actually spin this thing and make a really good signal. Kind of ironic for an airplane to be messing up my footage right now, right? Okay, we've also got 10 reflective tacks. It comes in a nice little container, which is kind of cool. So what these would potentially be good for, I think sometimes I've seen like hunters use that for when they're marking out trails. That tack, that material that's on the head right there, whenever a light shines on that, especially after dark, it's going to light up really bright. It's really going to catch and reflect that light back at you. So you could use these as trail markers basically. You could put this tack into the trees going down the path where you're going, and they'll light up real good. So they're kind of inconspicuous until you shine light on them, but then they work really well. and it's something that's easy that you could take them down, move them, you know, rearrange them, recollect them, especially since they give you a little case, so that's a smart thing to have. Alright, so we've also got a book of matches. Looks like these are nothing fancy. I think these are just regular matches. Yeah, just regular plain old matches, so you'll want to make sure you keep these dry. But it does come with a little waterproof baggie, so that you don't have to worry about that. But I think it's good to see this included. I think when I saw a video on this kit when it was still in the prototype, I don't believe it came with any matches or anything, which to me was a little bit of a flaw, just because when it comes to like the smoke cartridge, you need a way to ignite it. So if you didn't have something else with you, you wouldn't have been able to light the thing off. So it's good to see that included. Alright, so right here we've got what they say is 6 feet of high-vis reflective cordage, which this is definitely the high-vis stuff, I can tell by looking at it. So same as those tacks I showed you a second ago, if light hits this after dark, it's going to light up super bright. So great for getting attention drawn to yourself. You know, great to have that little bit of cordage for just different tasks. But again, as I mentioned, that you could use that for tying to one of those glow sticks so that you can swing it and get that moving signal going, get like a big hoop of light to signal an aircraft. All right, so here we have our one-time use smoke cartridge. So it looks like, compared to the video I saw on the prototype, they went with one larger one as opposed to 2 smaller ones. So that's probably better, because this is probably going to give you, I imagine, a lot bigger plume of smoke for an extended period of time as opposed to the 2 smaller ones. So this will probably be more effective, but it will be, you know, a one-shot deal, so make sure that you use it appropriately. So, but this thing is supposed to light really easy with matches. You just strike a match, light the end of it, and set it down on the ground, and you'll get that smoke signal that you need. We've also got what should be 15 feet of orange vinyl ribbon. So you can see this is nice and bright. This is like a construction orange color. So this would be really great, again, for like marking yourself. You could put up markings around your camp where you're at in case rescue, you know, personnel get near enough to see this. You could also use this, would be perfect to use along with those reflective tacks to mark your trail and to leave a signal. You could pull off a strip, tear it off, and tack it to a tree just like that. So it would be a really good way to kind of blaze, leave a nice trail blazes so that you can be found. We've also got this really nice, this is an Orion Daya Marker. So the way this thing works, it's basically a big rubber capsule with a lid on there. So this should pretty much be waterproof, I believe. But it's got this powder inside there. So when you need to use this, you're just going to take the cap off. You're going to pour some or all of the powder into the water, and it's going to light up like a really bright, I believe it's like a neon green, and we'll take a look at that. So this is going to be super great if you ever happen to get you know, stranded out on the water or near a large body of water. Whenever you can see, you know, you have a rescue helicopter, something like that within sight, you're going to crack this thing open, sprinkle it out in the water, and it's going to light up just crazy weird color that's going to be totally unnatural, and it's going to get their attention. So definitely another really great, really effective option, and there is a lot of powder in here, so depending on the situation, you may not have to use all of it for a one-time signal, or you may just go ahead and dump the whole thing to get a really big splotch of color. A couple of things to keep in mind with this is that you are going to want to gradually pour it into the water. Again, like I said, wait until an aircraft is within sight, so don't be too quick to throw it out there, because it may disperse before they can see it. Also, you got to avoid contact with your eyes and your skin, and this stuff can make you sick, so very sick, and it will stain your clothes. It'll get everywhere if you get it on your hands and everything. So if you're just testing this thing out, be careful about that. Okay, so we've also got a piece of chalk. That might seem strange to some when we're talking about signaling, but this is going to be really great either if you're in a urban environment where you've got concrete, wood, you know, the door of a house to write on, but it's also going to be great if you're out somewhere maybe where there's large boulders, kind of like a desert environment, something like that. You can use this to kind of draw arrows to signal your direction. You could write the date and approximate time of day that you pass by that area. You could also use it for like standardized emergency symbols, things like that. So really smart thing to have. It'll allow you to communicate a little more specific information to folks who might be trying to track you down. They also throw in a nice big chunky chisel tip permanent marker. So for the same type of thing but different surfaces, this is going to allow you to leave notes, leave more specific information. So another really great thing to have. A lot of people might not think to put one of these in their emergency kit, but it's certainly a really good tool to have. We've also got 5 of these reflective patches, which are actually pretty cool. So there's a lot of different uses for these. These definitely reflect a ton of light. So you could attach this to maybe the outside of your survival shelter or onto your gear, wherever, and it's just going to give that one extra really reflective surface. So maybe you've got a rescue team that is looking for you, but you're not at your camp, you're down by the creek, and they might walk right by your camp and not realize it's there. Well, having some good reflective surfaces like this could help to draw attention to that, and it could also potentially, in a pinch, for trying to do some kind of signaling or something like that, if you didn't have your signal mirror, you might be able to pull something off with one of these guys. We've also got looks like a pretty good sized Mylar emergency blanket. This is a reflective like chrome color and a bright orange, so both two really good unnatural colors to see in the woods. So not only could this save your life in terms of preserving body heat, or maybe potentially to make or to use as a shelter tarp, but you've also got those colors that again are going to draw attention to yourself. And you could even potentially take this blanket, for example, use the silver side, grab 2 corners and wave it, something like that, to help signal an aircraft. So another great addition to this kit. We've got the 5 sheets of waterproof paper that I mentioned earlier. So these are like full-size sheets. So again, you could use this with that permanent marker that's in the kit, or a pen if you had it, and that's a way you could leave a note with specific information. For example, if you decided to leave your camp and that you're going to try to make it back to civilization, you think you knew you had a good way to go, you could leave a detailed note about when you left, where you were going, what you had with you, all that good stuff. So if somebody did happen to find your camp and you were already gone, they would know which direction to go. So again, another great way of communicating information. Some people forget when we're talking about signaling, you're not just talking about flares and flashes of light, but you're talking about ways of communicating information in emergency situations. Last but not least, we do have their included survival sheet, their survival tip sheet, and it does give you directions on basically how to use all the different items in this kit. How to effectively use the smoke cartridge, the Daya Marker, the signal mirror that's included, all of that good stuff. And it even gives you information on here how to set up a really quick burning signal fire, as well as, you can see, like I talked about earlier, some universal symbols that you can use with that chalk or that permanent marker to communicate specific things to rescue personnel. So overall, I am really happy with this kit. I think Stanford Outdoor Supply did a great job of thinking it through like really thoroughly, not just your most basic, obvious methods of signaling, but even into a little bit more advanced techniques, alternative techniques, so that you've really got a lot of different ways to get yourself found in an emergency situation. So it's just kind of a nice modular system. You could take this, you could open it up, break it down, add it to your kit, or you could put it together with some of the other B.O.S. kits in kind of like a bug out bag, something like that. But whatever way you decide to utilize it, I think this is still a really great kit, and it is certainly worth checking out. Alright folks, thanks for watching our video on the B.O.S. signaling kit from Stanford Outdoor Supply. Feel free to leave your comments and questions below, and if you're not already subscribed, I hope you'll consider doing so today. Thanks for watching, and until next time, stay happy and stay outdoors.